In this Brograph talk, Matt Milstead talks to the audience at DFWC4D about using Realflow in Cinema 4D. I think Matt already asked this, but how many people listen to our podcast, Brograph podcast?
Cool.
So,
all right. Thank you guys who listen. Thank you.
Yes, and if you haven't listened, please check it out. Brograph.com. Check out the podcast. We've got about 10,000 listeners now. It's really growing. We're really loving it. And we talk about so many things on the show, from Octane to Realflow, Cinema 4D, After Effects. We talk about contract stuff, doing taxes, working for the man, working as a contractor, and we also talk about stupid stuff as well.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of Rick and Morty jokes.
Oh, yes. Yes. And so one of the things we talk about on the show is plugins for Cinema 4D. And for example, we've been talking every now and then about Realflow, and they have a plugin for Cinema 4D so you can do liquid effects.
Yay.
And so Matt is going to do a brief presentation about doing liquid effects. And so I'm just going to hand it over to you.
Cool. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that segue. Okay. So, hey, look, that's me. I'm Matt Milstead.
I got you.
Take. There we go. See that cool fade? It's pretty nice. Yeah. All right, so this is basically what we're going to make in Realflow. We're going to play around with it. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to be using Octane. You can use anything you want. But I'm just going to be using Octane just so that you guys can kind of see it as we do it. And Realflow is super crashy, you know. So if it crashes, I apologize. We're going to get back up and running on it. So I'm going to start off with this. This is just a bottle that I made a long time ago. It's for a spec piece that we never ended up actually making any money off of, as it goes. And basically it's really simple. All it is just a loft a whole bunch of different times, and you loft it all the way up. There you go. And then you stick a bottle on there. It's lit with a HDRI, just a Octane Sky. You got a plane with a bend deformer in order to create your cyc wall. Real simple. So one thing that I wanted to do with this, I did a tutorial over this online one time, and it was really popular, so I kind of wanted to just show this here. What I want to do is I want to make it look like it's got some condensation. And so it's really easy to do that. In fact, I'm going to start a new project, and we're just going to create some little condensation things. To start with a sphere, make it editable. Let's go ahead and clear out half of it. Man, I'm so full of Red Bull right now. Like, just my wife was right. She's like, you need to stop drinking the Red Bull. So I'm like all shaky. I'm like, gotta hit the right one. All right. So this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually go into our soft selection mode so that it looks a little less stupid and like, you know, rigidy or whatever, even though we're just trying to create these stupid little water droplets because we don't want them to look like spheres, you know? Then I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to kind of make them a little flat. Then I'm going to duplicate this again. I'm just going to make a collection of them. And then move that over, go back into point mode. This. I don't know my keyboard shortcuts as well as I should. Dave's going to yell at me for that. And I'm using a Mac keyboard on a PC that took me forever to remap the keys. That looks awful. Okay, but that's all right. It's going to be really tiny, so we won't need to see it. Then let's move this. And I'm also going to use some spheres. So we're just creating some random little blobulars. All right, those are good enough blobulars. I'm going to copy those and then bring them over into our other project. And then we're going to throw all three of these into a cloner object. Then on the cloner, whoops, Red Bull. All right. On the cloner, we are going to turn it into object mode and select our loft. And then render instances, for sure. What am I doing? Where's all my things? Oh, surface, duh. Sorry, I'm dumb.
They're huge.
Yeah, they are. That's what she said. Alright, so then we're going to scale these down. These little things. Like David and EJ and Dave, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go over our project like 500 times. Our presentation 500 times. So I was like, man, I'm just going to wing it. Whatever. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to crash on me? No. I just restart it. Alright, so then I'm going to change that to 90 degrees so that they all kind of do that. And make them a lot smaller because they look stupid really big. You know what, let's go ahead and do this so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Cloner, let's add a whole lot more. Beep, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop. It's really good to make sound effects while you're working. It helps break up the monotony. I threw a random effector on top of the cloner, but I'm not going to do the position. I'm only going to do the scale. And I'm going to change these to about 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. I don't want uniform because I want them to look more blobully, if that's a real word. Then let's jump that up. Let's change the seed because I don't really like that. Actually, let's go up to like 300. Oh yeah, that's sexy. That's a pretty good seed. Oh, Octane's taking a really long time to load. Alright, whatever. So then we're just going to create a Octane material. Oh my gosh. You guys ever seen the stripes before? I don't know what that is. Specular. Alright, I'm going to save this. I'm just going to shut this beast down. I'm going to blame this on everyone else because their projects were so big and mine was just so tiny. It's like, yeah. Still all in my memory. And now I probably get to force quit this like you do. Alright, let's see if we can get this working. Fruitel. Alright. Here's a real test. Oh man, look at all this crap. Ah, there we go. We're going to throw this noisy thing. Oh yeah, look at all that. It's like black ants. So, nothing I love more than a bunch of ants all over my fruit juice. So we're going to go into fake shadows. And just click on that. There you go. Oh, look how realistic it looks. All right, with that beautiful condensation. And you could also, create another cloner and throw a bunch of spheres in there. Spheres is the technical term. Not sure if you guys know that or not. Really? I need to get closer? I feel like I'm like sticking it in my mouth or something. But I don't want this random effector on here because it doesn't have the standard one. I'm like not explaining this very well. I'm like totally talking to myself right now. Yeah, it's common. It's common knowledge, Oh, comedy gold. I don't know about that. If you guys listen to the podcast, look how nice that looks. That's pretty sexy right there. All right, let's go ahead and make those a little bit a little bit smaller. See, then you get the blobbies and you get the circles because some things are circular, some are blobby. See, but you got to make sure the seeds are different, otherwise they overlap. Hey, look how nice that is. Okay, and then you could do a whole separate one of like smaller circles or spheres or whatever. And there you go. So that's just creating some like general like condensation-y looking and stuff. Like you're in a cold environment or really hot and it's just been baking in front of the lights all day and the director's like, come on, can we please just get this dolly shot of the Fruitel thing? Like, sorry bro. It's union. They're on a break. No offense to all the union guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of this plane. And let's start getting into some actual liquid sims. So if you guys have worked with X particles at all, if you know X particles, you know Realflow. It's like Realflow is cake compared to X particles. I get into X particles and I'm like, what the frig? And so Realflow is really easy. So basically you start a scene, you've got your mesher, emitters, fluids, and your demon, like Vampire Diaries, Damons, you know, Matt Damon, Stefan and Damon, yeah. Dude, Stefan died in this last episode. He dies in like every episode. Spoiler alert, hashtag spoiler alert. All right, so Realflow, so your mesher is what creates the mesh from all of your stuff. Your emitter is what emits the particles. Your fluid is what, with fluids. And your demons are different things, like different ways to like affect it. You know, so you got a tractor, crown, drag. Drag is really my favorite. Like if you want to create some particles that like flow in really fast, kind of like what David did with the nitroblast stuff, you know, where it just explodes and then it's like, oh, slow-mo, matrixy thing, you know. You could use a drag. I like that. Kill speed, kill volume, kill isolated, kill age, you know. Those are all just the demons that you can use. So let's actually do something. What we're going to do is we're going to create an emitter, and I'm just going to do a circle emitter. And over here, you can see my circle emitter is right here, and it's pointing down. It's saying that's the direction that our particles are going to go. Jeez, stupid camera. So you can see the particles are going down with the arrow. That's pretty cool. Like, it actually tells you which way things are going to go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the splashy thingy come from behind and be like, hey, let's splash everywhere. This is going to be great. Okay. So we got that, and then you can see when you create an emitter, it automatically creates the fluid for you, which is cool because you don't have to add that extra step. And within here, you can see the, where is it? The simulation, your linked emitters. So if you're to add multiple emitters and you want them to all have the exact same, you know, instructions, I guess, with the fluid, you can just continue throwing them in there, which is cool. I'm not going to really do anything in my emitter. Because it's pretty simple, like I like the way it's going to be. If I wanted to change my speed, like how fast they emit, you know, I could turn it down or something. If you wanted, yeah, see, they're going much slower, which is kind of stupid. So I'm just going to keep it at the 200 because we're just creating a still frame, so it doesn't matter what we're doing. If you want to do a volume, that would be like how much it shoots off just immediately. You know, if you have it at 0, it just keeps going. Anyway, you got your side emission and your randoms. Now it's going to blah, blah, blah. Okay, so fluids. In our fluids, your resolution is like how many particles it's going to shoot out. I'm going to bring up my resolution to probably about 25 so you can see. I'm actually going to get out of this camera view so that you can actually see how many particles are going out. So you can see there's a whole lot more particles now on this one. Oh, but look, we're intersecting that. So we've got to put in a collider tag. A actual Realflow collider tag to our loft. Gosh, I feel like I'm like just feedbacking like crazy. Are you over there just riding the audio? You're like, Matt, stop talking so loud and then so quietly. No. Am I close enough? Huh? Is that close enough? No? Okay. All right, a little closer. Anyway, all right, so you got this loft right here. And then we threw the, really? Did you just turn me down? All right. You got the Realflow collider tag. And so now if we do this, you'll see that it goes through and beautiful. All right, so we're going to let that go for a little bit and stop it there. All right, now let's go into our camera view. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh no, we don't see anything over in the render view. That's because you've got to throw a mesher into it, and you're going to say, okay, this is what I want to do. So in your mesher, let's just add a mesher, and we'll go into mesh. And here's what's cool. One thing that I really like about Realflow is if you're using Octane or you've got a whole like GPU set up for your computer, you can actually use the CUDA GPU, which is great. So it makes it a whole lot faster. Okay, so on this, your radius is, if you guys have used metaballs, I think this is very similar to metaballs, you know, where it sees the radius between particles and like kind of puts that, or maybe it's how big the particles are. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not the best at this. Like really, Realflow is my go-to, hey, let's play it around and have some fun. I bought this plugin and I don't have anything to do with it, so let's play with it and make it worthwhile. So I'm going to go into medium resolution just because it looks a little bit better. And then let's just build the mesh. Let's see what it looks like immediately. All right. That looks really gross. It looks really big and fat and chunky. It looks nothing like water. It looks like crappy metal balls. Why not just use metal balls? Okay. So let's bring down the radius of this to probably about like 5 maybe. And then you got this auto build. This is great. But be careful, like once you start getting really crazy, it could actually like hurt you and crash your computer like Realflow has a tendency to do. But as you're changing around stuff, you can see it automatically will update. And because I'm working on Octane, you guys can see that as well. It looks like paint, beautiful. All right, so 6 centimeters, that looks about good, but my favorite thing to do is this thinning, and that helps make it look quite a bit more like water, less like this super thick paint stuff. Let's move it up quite a bit. There you go. See, that's looking more like water. That looks more like a splash. Just beautiful. I want to buy and drink Fruitel now. All right, so that's pretty good. It could be better, but who cares? It's just a still frame, And this is just a presentation. If you want to do it, you can do it yourself. So we're gonna go ahead and make the red liquid. What I did was I just created another, I duplicated the clear liquid one, and I'm just gonna go into my transmission in Octane, because transmission will like give you like a color, and see, ooh, look at that. That's sexy. And that mesher. And then let's see if it updates. Oh, look how nice that looks. That's pretty nice. Okay, then this is something that I like to do with this. I like to think about how many vitamins and minerals are inside a drink, and it feels like a lot of vitamins or it's got a lot of pulp, I'll add just a tiny bit of roughness inside of it so that, you can't quite see all the way through, and it really catches these highlights a lot, which is pretty nice. So anyway, that is basically Realflow in a very tiny nutshell for Cinema 4D. There's so much more you can do with it, but this is just like a tip of the hat, just a way to create this. Now, one big thing with Realflow for Cinema 4D, if you're using Octane, actually I don't even know if you're using Standard Renderer. I haven't tried it out with Standard Renderer, but if you just try and render it right now, yeah, you know what, let's go ahead and do that so you guys can see how much it crashes. Let's see, desktop crash. Bet you we don't even get a single frame. Octane render. All right, let's go. Boom. Let's see. Bump, da, da, da. Come on, crash. Come on, crash. You can do this. You can do this. I believe in you, Realflow. Come on, come on. Updating, updating. So anyway, what you have to do, and it's really stupid that you have to do this. Oh, we're going to get a frame. We are going to get a frame, people. This is going to be great. What you have to do is you actually have to go through and you have to export your mesh as like an alembic or something. Especially if you've got motion with it. Otherwise, it absolutely will not render. Like, it will crash on you every freaking time, and it is so stupid. But other than that, Realflow's pretty good. Other than it's sucking, it's really great. So, all right. Well, guess you guys don't get to see it crash. But that's me. Next up is the guy who you guys all came to see.
Hey, wait a minute.
I know, we're going to give away prizes.
We got prizes, yo.
Does anyone have any questions that I probably can't answer on Realflow? None? That's great. All right.
It's definitely better than playing with your meta balls.
How much is it? I don't know, like 500 bucks? It was 500 bucks when it came out. Like, that was the introductory price.
I think that was a special.
Yeah, so we got it for like super cheap.
But it's cheaper than buying the standalone version. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
That's for true.
Yes. Yeah, there is. Like, especially with Realflow 10. Realflow 10 that they just announced, you can do like snow and other stuff, that you can't actually do in the Cinema 4D one. The Cinema 4D one is just basically liquids or something. I don't know, like I said, I'm not a huge Realflow guy. It is my go-to, let's have some fun and play around thing.
But if you're familiar with X particles, this is actually a lot easier, but it's very familiar.
Yes, extremely. And I feel like I've used X particles. I've tried X particles for fluid simulations, and it just feels, it just never look
like
real.
meta balls.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a question? Or are you just going? No? Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to bring attention to it. Anybody else? No? No? All right, thank you. Let's give away some prizes.